Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, The Learning Destination. I am your friend Avinash and today's topic is Kubernetes HA cluster. In this entire tutorial, we will see that how we can deploy the Kubernetes cluster into the AWS using KOPS. If you want to like that what is KOPS, then it has been covered in my previous video. I will write down the link in the details of this video section, so you can go and watch it. What is the Kubernetes, what is the orchestrations and Docker, and simultaneously you can get the information about the component and about the Kubernetes component and about KOPS. So in these sections, firstly we will see that how to install AWS command line, and for that after installing this we need also AWS free tier account, which I am going to cover in this section. And then how KOPS binaries can be downloaded, how the Kubernetes services command line tool like kubectls can be downloaded. Then we will create the AWS account. As I told you, like we need a free tier account for AWS, because this tutorial basically covers the Kubernetes cluster, high availability Kubernetes cluster deployment in AWS region using KOPS. And then we will create the state bucket, which is basically used for state store. Again, the state store is informations which is used by KOPS to deploy HA availability clusters into AWS environment. And then we will create the Kubernetes cluster using the KOPS, and after everything is happened, after that we will delete the cluster. Let's have a look. Like if you install the KOPS version, we should have the compatibility between the KOPS version and Kubernetes services. So here I have mentioned some Kubernetes KOPS version and Kubernetes services version, so which are supported by which version. So if you see that in the KOPS version 1.9, it is being supported by Kubernetes 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 and 1.8. so it is approximately, it is supported by, it supports every version of Kubernetes services. We can deploy every Kubernetes services with KOPS version 1.9. Then in this way you can get the idea about the KOPS version of 1.8, 1.7 and 1.6. Okay, then it's a very interesting topic. Just stay and have a sip of coffee and watch this wonderful session. Hey guys, welcome back. Now I am going to cover the lab sections. In the lab section, firstly we will see that the AWS free tier account, and if you have, then it is very good. If you don't have, go and create a AWS free account, and for that you need to create the AWS free account. So you can go there, create a free account, and then in this way you can create the AWS free tier account. I'm not going in depth way in this. This is the different topic. Once you are done with that, then you need to you will have your AWS free tier account. But to run the AWS command line, you need to install the AWS command line tool, and that you can install it from here. So after installing it, you can run the AWS command from your local host machine. And if you are using the Linux OS, then you need to go through these steps. So firstly you need to install the Python using the pip, and then you need to set the Python path, so your system gets to know about that where is the Python exact listening, and then you are good to go with the AWS command line tool. Once you install with the AWS command, after that the next requirement comes. You need to install the AWS, you need to set up the AWS account here. So the command is AWS configure. I'm not going to run because I have already mentioned my credential here. Basically it asks you AWS access key, AWS secret key, AWS reason, that which reason you are going to implement your setup, and that's it. You are good to go with the AWS configure. You need to install the KOPS. So KOPS is basically a Kubernetes cluster management tool, and it is widely used in AWS. If you want to set up a Kubernetes HA cluster in AWS environment, it is one of the best tools. So simply you need to type AWS KOPS, install KOPS, and then from here you can see that there is a binaries for Mac OS and Linux. Since I am using the Linux, so I can go for this. Just only I will make sure that I will change it curl command, because I am not using W8, I am going with the curl. Let's make it curl. Just once again confirming that command is okay. Okay. Okay, now I'm okay. So download is started now. It takes around 2 to 3 minutes. It depends on, it is not, it is only a 78 MB. It depends on your internet speed. My internet speed is not too good, but again it takes around 2 to 3 minutes, I guess. Let's see that how fast it could be completed. We need to reach it 100%. Once it is done, once it reaches 100%, we are good to go with the next command, next requirement. 86% now, 88, 92. Few more seconds. Okay, now it's done. Now we need to move this binary into the, we need to first make it executable, and then we need to move this binaries into bin folder. Okay, let's move it. I need to simply run this command because I am already a root user. I am already logged in with the super user, so I'm just moving it. Okay, let's check. Let's make sure once again. It should be there. Okay, it is there. I can run the KOPS command now. Let me check the version. Okay, it's working. Next requirement is to install kubectl. Okay, I have already bookmarked the page. So here guys, if you want to install the kubectl on CentOS, there is a package manager is given. You can install it in this way. I have done in my system using the package manager. And then if you want to install on Ubuntu, you can go with this. And the next version, if you have Mac OS, then you can install in this way. Next is if you want to use it directly from the binaries, then there is also options. You go with this. You can run this command, and if you want a specific version, then you can define here the specific version. Let's say that you need 1.10, so you can define here 1.10, and then the process is same. You need to make it executable, and after that you need to move into the local bin folder. Okay, so I'm not going to do that because I have already done it using the package manager. So let me check the command. Okay, so I'm using currently 1.11 kubectl version. One thing I also want to guys show you one thing, that this is about the compatibility between the Kubernetes and KOPS. So the version should be matched. If it is not completely matched, then you will get the error. Let me show you here. Okay, so this is which I was talking about, compatibility matrix. So just make sure that you have the KOPS version 1.9. Then just check that what are the versions Kubernetes is being supported with the 1.9. In the same way, 1.8, 1.7 and 1.6, you can check it as per your requirement. Whatever you have, 1.6 or 1.7, you need to install the respective supported Kubernetes version. Okay, now I'm going to create the S3 bucket. So basically we need state store, and we need to create a S3 bucket as a state store. And a state store is the informations which basically store the informations which basically stores the cluster informations which is used by the KOPS to deploy the cluster. So let me create the S3 bucket. Okay, create bucket. Let me give the name here. Okay, let's say I'm giving the name here ABC. Just I'm giving any randomly name, so it should be exist on S3. Otherwise, I will get the error because it creates on global level. Then we need to define the reason. I need to define the reason, not the zones. Okay, just checking the command. It looks everything good. Let me run it. Okay, there is some mistake in mistake is here. It should be one. Okay, so now bucket is successfully created. Let's. Now I'm going to set this variable. Just copy this bucket name. Okay, now I'm going to deploy the KOPS cluster. KOPS, the cluster name. Let's say that I am giving here dot Kubernetes dot local space hyphen zones. Here I am defining the zones. So guys, here I would like to bring your eyes on one thing. Here I am going to deploy only in one zones, but let's say that if you want the HA availability, and in the same way you can configure these master nodes and these master and worker nodes on different regions. Let's say that one I am creating in AP South 1A zones, then you can go with the 1B, 1C, and in each zone you can create one master, two nodes. It depends on you. You can increase the number of master as well. Let me create, and here it should be KOPS. So command is KOPS create cluster. Then you need to define the cluster name, zone. Okay, I think I missed this line. Okay, so the cluster is started building now, and I received error. So guys, just I would like to bring your notifications. If you get this kind of error, SSH public key, and it is saying that it must be defined, so you need to generate this public key with the SSH-keys and command. Okay, so the command is generated. Now I'm going to run again KOPS create cluster command. Okay, so it is saying that bucket actually that is already exists, so we need to delete this bucket from the AWS account because bucket was already created. But since the error occurred, and due to this I don't go with the same, I can't go with the same bucket name. I need to change it, or either I have to delete this bucket. So let me delete this bucket. Okay, delete bucket. Then we need to specify a name, Kubernetes services, and then hyphen thing. Okay. Okay, so bucket is successfully deleted now. Now I need to once again make the bucket once again. Bucket is created. Let me define the export. Okay. Now we need to make the KOPS cluster. So we can see that now it is starting. In the few minutes, around 1 to 2 minutes, our cluster is started. We can see here the KOPS kubelet API. It is we can see here the kubelet API server, kube scheduler, kube proxy, kube controller manager. So each component has been built by the KOPS, and here we can see that message. If everything is good, then you should receive this message. Cluster is starting. It should be ready in few minutes. Okay. Now there are some suggestions of the command. We can go with the KOPS validate cluster. And before that, I would like to bring your notification something. Let's say that in S3 bucket. So the S3 bucket should be created. Here the S3 bucket is successfully created. If I go inside, as I told you that it stores all the information about the clusters. So we can see that it is a store. It has stored all the informations about the cluster. Let me go into EC2 instances. And here in EC2 instances, you can see that it makes 3 nodes. One is master, this is master, and 2 worker nodes. So basically this cluster was designed 1 master and 2 nodes. Okay, now let's run this command, KOPS validate cluster. Basically it takes time. It takes around 3 to 4 minutes to get up all the nodes, and once the all node gets up, after that you will get the output of this command. So just wait for 3 to 4 minutes. It depends also on what reason you are going to deploy it, and how much the latency is particular for that reason. Okay, so there is some progress. We can see that now one node, one worker node is up, one master node is up, still one node is still pending, and it takes around 1 or 2 minutes. Still one more node is pending. Let me run this command again. Okay, so it takes 1 or 2 minutes, because right now it is coming validation failed, and if everything is good, your cluster is completely up. Now you should get the message something like that, your cluster is ready. Okay guys, so we can see here our cluster is completely up. See the message, your cluster is completely ready, and we can see here 2 nodes and one master and 2 nodes. Okay, so let me run some command. So we can see that we have 3 nodes, and it is showing the uptime. It has been up from last 40 seconds. It is running from last 1 minute. Okay, now if we go in a little bit. Okay, so now we want to log in on the master. So if we go and try to run this command, we can't get login because we need to take the global DNS name, and that we can do it from here. We need to copy this public DNS name, we need to mention here. Okay, we are completely logged in now on the master node. This is the master node. Just I am checking the services. Docker PS. Okay, so we need to. So we can see here the different containers are running itself. You don't need to do anything. KOPS itself manages everything. That here the Kube API server is started, and then etcd is started, then Kube scheduler is started. So everything is started now, and it is being taken care by Kubernetes and KOPS itself. You don't need to manually do that. Now, let's say that I want to deploy something on this HA availability zone. So now, guys, we can see that now it's completely up. Our HA cluster is completely up, and now we can deploy any services like Nginx, Topcat, or whatever you want. Now you can go with this HA environment. You can deploy your applications, and let me just deploy one applications. So create deployment, and then I can give, let's say that WordPress, create deployment WordPress, and then ---- image equal WordPress. Okay, so it is saying WordPress created. Just check the pod, kubectl, get pods. The command is misspelled. So we can see that the pod here, the successfully WordPress pod is created. Now see that get SVC, Kubernetes cluster IP. We can see that here. We have successfully deployed the pods. Just check that the nodes status. So we can see that there is a master node, and there is two worker node attached to the master. Okay. Now let's describe the pod. kubectl describe pods. Okay, so here we can see that right now here the pod name is given, which we have taken the WordPress image, and then on which IP node it is listening. So the IP is given over here, and the start time, then where it is mounted, then environment given, initialize, and here you can see that it is itself managing the availability zone. It is itself deciding that how it can be scaled, and here now we can check that it is also giving the history of the command. You can see that firstly it scheduled it, then it pushed the image, and after that it created the WordPress container, and it has successfully run the WordPress on the container, and then it started the container. Once you done with that, guys, don't forget to delete, because Amazon charges you as per the services. So how many hours your services is extended, you will be charged on accordingly that. So guys, here you need to make sure one thing, that we need to delete the cluster, otherwise Amazon will continuously it charges you. Please make sure you should delete your cluster. Cluster. My keyboard is little buggy today. It just two times the syntax and the cluster name. So my cluster name is -demo dot Kubernetes services dot local space -yes. So it deletes everything from your AWS account. Let's go and check in AWS account. So we can see that it is now. So we can see here now the systems, the nodes are being shut down. If we see here the load balancer, okay, here we can check the load balancer. So it has been already deleted since I have run the delete cluster, the KOPS delete cluster command. So we can see that now one master one node is successfully terminated and one more worker node is on progress. So once after completing these commands, you won't be get any nodes, any security group, any load balancer inside your AWS environment. So it deletes each and every nodes, especially which and it deletes only those nodes which has been designed by this KOPS and which you make the instances during this setup. So we can see now that each node and master is terminated. We can't get anything right now. If I check volumes, if I check instances, everything is deleted. Launch configurations, then load balancer. So everything is deleted now, and you won't be charged anything extra. So it is a safe. So just make sure that once you create the cluster, don't forget to delete it. Okay guys, I am done with the today's sessions. If you like my videos, please don't forget to subscribe it, share and comment. Your feedback really important for me. You can also follow me on LinkedIn and Facebook. Thank you for watching it. Have a good day. Have a good night. Bye.